And let's begin with breaking news that's coming in this hour. Sources telling us here on India Today that the governor could soon call for a floor test in the assembly. Sources also say that Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray wanted to resign from his post, and he wanted to resign on social media twice, but on both occasions Sharad Pawar intervened and convinced him against the move. So Uddhav Thackeray perhaps realizes it's game over and reportedly wanted to resign twice. He was stopped by Sharad Pawar. And now the Shiv Sena also moving in for the kill. They're all set to approach the governor and also could be seeking a floor test, knowing full well that the numbers are stacked in their favor. The fact that Uddhav Thackeray also has now reportedly offered to resign twice, but Sharad Pawar stopped him from doing so, speaks volumes of where Uddhav Thackeray believes, or what chances Uddhav Thackeray believes he really has at this point. Now, what we're hearing is that the governor very soon could call for floor test in the assembly, and that's when it comes down to the numbers, which at this point are very clearly with Eknath Shinde, with the Shinde camp. And Uddhav Thackeray has been reduced to the teens. The number of MLAs on his side is just about 15 to 16 currently. Sources telling us here on India Today that the Chief Minister wanted to resign twice. Remember, he's down with COVID, so he actually wanted to make a very public announcement on social media. On both occasions, ally, the NCP, Sharad Pawar, stepped in and said, don't do it. Mustafa Sheikh is joining us live with more details on this. Mustafa, tell us what you've picked up. Reportedly, Uddhav Thackeray wanted to resign twice. Sharad Pawar has stopped him. But what this clearly indicates is that Uddhav realizes he doesn't have the numbers. This can't go on.
Well, yes, that's one of the things, Akshita, that whatever happenings have taken place in the past 1 week in Maharashtra, one thing is clear is that Maharashtra Vikas Agad does not enjoy the majority it used to enjoy at some point of time. That is very much clear. Now, the other important thing is how will BJP form a government? So that's the other question. So if you look at this entire cases, what sources are telling us is that Uddhav Thackeray was indeed at that point of time very emotional. He, after his Facebook address, had left his official residence Varsha even when he was COVID positive and came to his residence Matushri in Bandra. So he also wanted to give in this seat. So basically he wanted to make it clear that it was never about him, or he didn't want to be Chief Minister. It was not his ambition. It's just that it was a timing of such which has taken place. But as the things stand now, if you look at it, Maharashtra Assembly, what the BJP sources are telling us is that they are confident that the government will be formed. They are also saying that before 11th of July, when the next hearing in the Supreme Court takes place, there is a likelihood of a floor test happening in the Maharashtra Assembly, and that is where the MVA government will fall. What they are telling us is that there are 39 MLAs of Shiv Sena who are with the Eknath Shinde camp. If, for example, they abstain from voting, then BJP has the numbers. BJP is the larger party. BJP has support from more independent MLAs. 10 independent MLAs from Guwahati can come and also vote. So this is something which the BJP is calculating at this point. What remains to be seen is that when does that floor test happen? Will it be Eknath Shinde who will be approaching the governor? Will it be BJP, or governor will be taking a suo motu action and asking Uddhav Thackeray that there is your majority is in question, you come on the floor of the house and prove your majority. We'll have to wait and see how these things progress. Back to you.
Let's put that point across also to Paulami Saha. Mustafa, stay with us. Paulami Saha is reporting live from Guwahati. Paulami, what's the Shinde camp's next move? Are they going to move in for the kill? Are they going to be requesting the governor to order a floor test?
Oh, absolutely, Akshita. This is exactly what they were waiting for, this window. The disqualification notice was the only thing that was stopping them from, in fact, moving in and going and forward to break ties with the MVA alliance. Basically, what they've been saying, that NCP and Congress is not the coalition that we should be a part of, the parties that we should be going forward with. It is the Bharatiya Janata Party. The disqualification notices against 16 rebel MLAs was the only thing in their way, because eventually, if there was to be a floor test and 16 of them stood disqualified, then the numbers on their side would immediately dwindle and this entire exercise would have gone to a complete waste. So now that there is a stay on those disqualification proceedings, what they're going to do is they're going to approach the governor and withdraw their support to the Mahavikas Aghadi government, which will then compel the governor to call for a floor test and ask Uddhav Thackeray to prove his majority and his government's majority on the floor of the House. That they hope will be unlikely, given that as many of them, 48 at the moment, are outside the MVA camp. They would hope that the government force and eventually BJP and this faction could come together, BJP supported by some independents on their side as well, and then prove that they have more than the halfway mark in the Legislative Assembly of Maharashtra, which is 143, and then stake claim to form government. Akshita.
You know, you look at the numbers, Mustafa, you look at the numbers, it's clearly, there's no way at this point that Uddhav Thackeray can pull off any sort of a miracle. It's well beyond that. The Supreme Court also hasn't provided him any relief. So it makes sense that actually he was thinking about resigning on social media. The question will be, why did Sharad Pawar really stop him? Is Pawar going to now directly intervene in what he referred to as an internal Shiv Sena crisis all along?
Well, we'll have to, understand this entire thing, because now we are hearing from sources that this has happened. We are not sure whether Uddhav Thackeray or Sharad Pawar in public domain have not said that something like this has happened. And secondly, you were rightly saying that the numbers are in favor of the BJP, of Eknath Shinde. But unless and until it happens, what maybe Sharad Pawar is trying to do is to bring it to fight till the last lap. That's what they were trying to do. Now, for example, if the floor test is ordered, there is a no confidence motion moved and a floor test is called upon. It is very much likely that the Shiv Sena will move Supreme Court and challenge this floor test. So these are things which are yet to happen, and maybe Sharad Pawar, Uddhav Thackeray, be it Congress, they are also saying that wherever till the time it's possible we will give a fight, we will not give in the resignation through away the government. This is what they are saying, because they are also understanding the situation is volatile. For example, if you understand, if you look at the MLAs, the 39 MLAs of the Shiv Sena who are in Guwahati, what we are given to understand is that they are also getting restless as the days are passing by. If there is nothing, there is no move taken by Eknath Shinde camp, that they don't know for how long they will have to stay in Guwahati, and also now that their ministerial portfolios which have been removed. So these are some things which put the MLAs at unease, and that's why it looks like that something soon will happen. But yes, MVA Mahavikas Aghadi at this point of time doesn't look like they are giving in, they are resigning. They would take it till the last time.
Okay, Mustafa, Paulami, thank you very much for joining us this evening with all of those updates. That big news break that Mustafa and Paulami were just getting us is that Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray actually offered to resign twice, but was stopped by Sharad Pawar from doing so. Besides that, we're hearing that the governor very soon could call for a floor test, in which case Uddhav Thackeray will have to prove his numbers. If he doesn't have it, he'll have to go. Now, another big development that came in on this story was that amid the raging political turmoil that's unfolding by the minute in Maharashtra, Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate in connection with the Patrachol land scam case. Now, earlier this year, ED had already attached some of Sanjay Raut's properties. Raut is defiant. He's saying he will not appear before the agency.
अपने बाप के नाम पर पार्टी बनाओ और अपने बाप के नाम पर वोट मांगो. हमारा जो पार्टी का बाप है, उसका क्यों आप इस्तेमाल कर रहे हो? आपको तो 100 बाप है उधर.
He has been the principal troubleshooter of the beleaguered Uddhav government, leading the fight from the front, with a series of fiery counters.
जिस तरह की राजनीतिक हलचल मुंबई में चल रही है, महाराष्ट्र में, देश में चल रही है, तो मुझे पूरा अंदेशा था कि मेरे बारे में मुझे रोकने के लिए, शिवसेना को रोकने के लिए कुछ लोग इकट्ठा आएंगे महाराष्ट्र के खिलाफ और मुझे और मेरे कोई साथी हुए उनको तकलीफ देंगे.
And now Uddhav Sena MP Sanjay Raut finds himself in Enforcement Directorate crosshairs, summoned for grilling over his role in Patra Chawla land scam case. Amid the thick of Maharashtra power tussle, Raut was quick to dare the centre to arrest him, saying he is ready to be beheaded, but not bow.
देखिए, मेरा आवाज आप बंद नहीं कर सकते. आप ईडी की नोटिस भेज दीजिए या मेरी गर्दन उड़ा दो, मैं गुवाहाटी से रास्ते से नहीं निकलूंगा. मैं यहाँ ही रहूँगा मेरी पार्टी के साथ, आप कितनी भी कोशिश करो, मैं मर जाऊँगा, लेकिन आपने मेरे खिलाफ ईडी लगाया, सीबीआई लगाया, मैं जेल जाऊँगा ना, आप मुझे अरेस्ट कर सकते हो। अभी मैं बैठा हूँ शिव सेना भवन में, आप आइए, अरेस्ट करो, मुझे बुलाओ, कब आना है, मैं जाऊँगा।
Sena too quickly rallied behind Sanjay Raut.
कोर्टाने दिलेल्या निर्णयावरती प्रतिक्रिया देण्याची मला गरज नाही, कारण कोर्ट अतिशय सक्षम आहे, या देशातील सुप्रीम कोर्ट अतिशय सक्षमपणे निर्णय घेते.
But legally it doesn't look good for the belligerent Sena MP. In April this year, ED attached his properties in the 1,034 crore land scam case. Sanjay Raut and wife Varsha Raut's Alibag plot and a flat in Mumbai's Dadar were among the properties attached. The probe agency claims that Raut's wife Varsha, family members and associates in an arm of construction major HDIL connived and sold state housing body plots and floor space to private developers. ED says the private developers illegally sold the flats to buyers and total proceeds of the crime amounts to nearly 1,034 crore. The Sena rebels and the BJP justified the penal action.
उनके पास तो एक ही रास्ता है, जब भी कुछ भी हो जाए तो उंगली या तो केंद्र सरकार की ओर करे या हमारे नेताओं की ओर करे। तो ये बचपना छोड़ दें, वे आत्मचिंतन करें, और ये उनके दल का अपना निजी मामला है। निजी मामले में वे अपने परिवार में उस मामले को निपटे, हमारा उस मामले से कोई लेना देना नहीं है।
It's not just Sanjay Raut who's facing ED heat. 3 senior Aghadi ministers, Anil Deshmukh, Nawab Malik and Anil Parab are facing scam heat and fire over underworld links. With Munish Pandey, Bureau Report, India Today.
And in our next report, we get you details of what played out in the Supreme Court. Huge relief for the Shinde camp that came in, as the Supreme Court has asked the Deputy Speaker to put the disqualification of these rebel MLAs on hold. Here's more.
The tussle between Uddhav Sena and Shinde Sena, which has put the Maharashtra government on the edge, has moved from the hotel rooms to the courtroom. The Supreme Court on Monday put the Maharashtra Deputy Speaker's disqualification notice to 16 rebel Sena MLAs on hold.
Time to file our reply to the notice of the Deputy Speaker for our disqualification is extended till the 12th of July. Secondly, has directed and recorded the undertaking of the state government that all protection to life and liberty of these 39 MLAs as also their family members shall be extended by the state government.
The top court, hearing separate petitions filed by Eknath Shinde and 15 other rebels, issued notices to Uddhav Thackeray government and Deputy Speaker. The Supreme Court has given the rebels time till 5:30 p.m. on July 11th to reply to Deputy Speaker's disqualification notice. The Supreme Court has asked the Deputy Speaker to explain the notice sent to the 16 rebel MLAs. The Apex Court has given 5 days for the Uddhav faction to reply. The court said that the parties are free to approach the court if a floor test is demanded. It also ordered the state government to arrange security for the rebel MLAs and their families.
मौत आज आप टाल सकते हो, कभी न कभी तो ये क्रिया प्रक्रिया होने वाली है ना। जो 12 MLAs है जिसके ऊपर ये तलवार लटकी है डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन की, वो हटेगी नहीं, मैं आपको दावे के साथ कहता हूँ।
It was almost like a war. They were trying to disqualify us. Every way they tried it, but finally we had a justice, and I think they should take a lesson from this. They should step down. It would become more graceful, and that is my request to them.
For now, the Shiv Sena rebels are immune from disqualification, but all eyes are set on their next strategy. With the next hearing scheduled for July 11th, Uddhav Sena and Shinde Sena are locked in a battle of nerves. Bureau Report, India Today.
So it's clear at this point that the numbers aren't in favor of Uddhav Thackeray. neither did the Supreme Court. Even that ruling, at this point at least, from today, hasn't been provided any relief at all to Uddhav Thackeray. So it's all, of course, at this point, hinging on what Eknath Shinde does next. Let's focus on that. What is the Shinde camp's next move? Are they going to move in for the kill? Well, at this point, they will be going ahead and officially withdrawing support from the MVA government. They're doing that saying, we have the numbers, we are the Shiv Sena. They're also going to be approaching the governor to say, order a floor test. Again, they'll highlight the fact that most of the MLAs are with the Shinde Sena right now. Eknath Shinde will personally also push for a no-confidence motion against the Uddhav government. All of this made possible because he has 2/3 of the party strength in the House with him. Now, by doing all this, essentially Eknath Shinde and the Shinde Sena, as they're being referred to, will be reiterating that we are the real Shiv Sena. Uddhav Thackeray is a minority, so that simply doesn't count. Now, what we've been seeing is also that this particular fight between the Uddhav Sena and the Shinde Sena has turned rather violent. We've been seeing for the last many days Shiv Sainiks hitting the streets, some protesting against, some for the rebellion by Eknath Shinde. But in many places, like in Kolhapur, it turned violent as clashes broke out between two groups. Let's get you all the details in our next report.
Shinde Sena versus Uddhav Sena on the streets of Maharashtra. Street clashes, effigy burning, sloganeering and street marches. Supporters of Shinde and Uddhav came face to face in Maharashtra's Kolhapur. Unruly scenes were witnessed as both camps indulged in a brawl. Cops had to eventually intervene and detain the rival agitators. Shinde camp is in no mood to budge even on the streets. Sena's most vocal leader Sanjay Raut's effigy was burnt in rebel chief Eknath Shinde's stronghold, Thane. Eknath Shinde's son, Shrikant Shinde, who led the protests, pledged an all-out fight to uphold Bala Saheb Thackeray's legacy from Uddhav government in minority.
गावत का अंत कहां तक होगा? आखिर ये लड़ाई जाएगी कहां तक? गावत नहीं है, ये लोगों को जो चाहिए वो महाराष्ट्र के जो लोगों को चाहिए, जनता को चाहिए, वो जो है वो आज एकनाथ शिंदे साहब के नेतृत्व में जो है वो सभी एमएलए लोगों ने किया है.
Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, who is bleeding MLAs by the hour, ordered a crackdown on the rebels, stripping the rebel ministers of their portfolios, reallocating their posts among the remaining loyalists. Eknath Shinde's Urban Development Ministry has been handed over to Subhash Desai. Gulab Rao Patil's Water Supply and Sanitation Department has been given over to Anil Parab. Uddhav Thackeray's son Aditya was handed over 3 additional ministries. The two rival Sena factions engaged in a serious fight over Bala Saheb's legacy. Sanjay Raut targeted rebels and accused them of ditching the Sena and the Thackeray family for their political gains.
जो लोग 40-40 साल से पार्टी में रहते हैं और भाग जाते हैं, उनका जमीर मर गया, आत्मा मर गया है, तो क्या बचता है? जिंदा लाश, जिंदा कौम.
The fight for the Maha throne is far from over, with both the Sena camps not ready to budge. With Mausami Singh in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
And amid this political crisis in Maharashtra, the BJP has held a core committee meet, and we're getting you information of what's really been communicated in that huddle. Sources telling us that the leaders have been communicating to the workers to be on standby to welcome the rebel MLAs. Let's cut across live to the reactions.
उसके बारे में आकलन किया गया है और भारतीय जनता पार्टी वेट एंड वॉच के भूमिका में आज भी है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के निर्णय के बारे में इस विषय का चिंतन किया गया। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो कहा है उसके आधार पे आने वाले दिनों में जो और प्रस्ताव आगे आएंगे, उस प्रस्ताव के बाद भारतीय जनता पार्टी अपने कोर टीम के माध्यम से उचित निर्णय करेगी। भारतीय जनता पार्टीच्या कोर बैठकीमध्ये आज असा कोणताही सरकार स्थापनेच्या प्रस्तावाबाबत चर्चा झाली नाही। आज असणारी राज्यातली अस्थिर परिस्थिती, शिवसेनेमध्ये असणारी फूट, राज्याच्या मुख्यमंत्र्यांनी काँग्रेस राष्ट्रवादीचा पाठिंबा घेतल्यानंतर सुद्धा त्यांच्या पक्षाच्या सदस्यांनी केलेला त्यांना आग्रह, या सर्व गोष्टीवर भारतीय जनता पार्टी लक्ष देऊन आहे। भविष्यामध्ये रोज होणाऱ्या घटना आणि या घटनांवर लक्ष ठेवून भारतीय जनता पार्टी पुन्हा कोर टीमची बैठक घेऊन उचित निर्णय करेल।
शेवटचा प्रश्न, बंडखोर आमदारांचं भाजपा स्वागत करणार आहे।
एक प्रश्न, बंडखोर आमदारांच्या संदर्भामध्ये खरं तर हा प्रश्न हा आपल्याकडून अपेक्षित नाही, कारण ते स्वतःला बंडखोर मानत नसून ते शुद्ध 24 कॅरेटच्या शिवसेनेचे आम्ही आमदार आहोत असं सांगतायत। तुम्ही मला प्रश्न करताय ते बंडखोर। आता बंडखोर कोण, की संजय राऊतांच्या शब्दामध्ये बंडखोर नॉटी कोण, हे तर येणारा काळ सांगेल। आणि म्हणून यावर
So the BJP maintaining they're in wait and watch mode, but what's very clear from the information we're picking up is that the Bharatiya Janata Party is going to hold this massive celebration when rebel leaders actually turn up in Mumbai. All right, more breaking news that's coming in. Let me take this across to Paulami Saha. She's reporting live from Guwahati outside Radisson Blu, where Eknath Shinde is currently. And there are posters of Shinde with Balasaheb Thackeray that have been put up. Paulami, take it away.
Right, Akshita, we are standing, in fact, on the lane outside Radisson Blu. This is 1.5 kilometers away from Hotel Radisson Blu, where the Eknath Shinde camp is holed up right now. And I'll ask Ajay to take it straight to that massive hoarding that's come up on the roads straight after that Supreme Court verdict. If you can see that hoarding, it has an image of Eknath Shinde. On the one side is Balasaheb Thackeray, and on the other side is the image of Anand Dighe, the political guru of, in fact, Eknath Shinde. And as you can see, it reads, "Garv se kaho, hum Hindu hai." Say it proudly. हम हिंदू हैं, we are Hindus. Shinde Sahab, हम आपके साथ हैं. Shinde sir, we are with you. Hashtag Hindutva forever. And two party Karyakarta's faces who have in fact put up this huge hoarding just 1.5 kilometers away from Hotel Radisson Blu, the Karyakartas being Shiv Narayan and Bala Mudaliyar. So these are the images that we're bringing to you live first on India Today after the Supreme Court verdict, which Eknath Shinde has of course dubbed as a win for the Eknath Shinde camp. Now Eknath Shinde in fact putting up this big poster, his supporters putting up this massive poster, flanked on the one side by Balasaheb Thackeray, on the other side by the image of his political guru Anand Dighe. Hindutva forever, it says clearly. Eknath Shinde there staking a claim to Balasaheb's legacy, staking a claim to the Hindutva legacy that Balasaheb Thackeray in fact embarked upon, and which the Shiv Sena is founded on. And that goes on to, in fact, enunciate basically the hashtag that he used this afternoon after the Supreme Court's verdict, which said, "Real Shiv Sena wins." So these are the live pictures that we're bringing to you from 1.5 kilometers from Hotel Radisson Blu. A massive hoarding of Eknath Shinde going up here, right here in Assam, Akshita.
And that poster pretty much sums up what we're seeing right now, Paulami. The fight over the legacy of Balasaheb Thackeray. The hashtag of Hindutva Forever, something that Eknath Shinde and his entire camp has been putting out for the last many days. They've even said that they want to form a group called the Shiv Sena Balasaheb. But this picture, that poster, is going to irk Uddhav Thackeray. It's very clear that Eknath Shinde is going in for the kill to go ahead and take forward Balasaheb Thackeray's Hindutva legacy, as he said time and again. Thanks very much, Paulamy, for joining us with that live update.